Welcome to Season 3 of the Casual Camping Podcast, your home for the best camping discussion both in and out of the field. Here are your hosts, Tim and Ade.
Hello and welcome once more to Casual Camping Podcast, the single most perfect place for your camping goodness. I'm Tim.
And I'm Ade. Whatever the season, whatever the weather, we'll be here with you. And thank you for your company.
Oh, I have to say, that's a lovely greeting we've done there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just off the bat, Tim. Like we say, we're not scripted.
We are casual. We're in the car, so if it sounds a bit funny, we're taking the opportunity because we're sat in the car together in God's own country of North Yorkshire, and looking out to the right, there's a white horse on the hill.
Yeah, I don't know what white horse that is, but if you're listening around the world, we've got some chalk horses that Neolithic man made on some hills. So, hello.
It's probably about 5,000 years old, something like that. It's that's England for you. That's Yorkshire,
land of and the sun is shining today, Tim.
I know.
Mid-September, and it's lovely. It wasn't shining last weekend, though, was it?
It was not shining last weekend, and God, what an absolute pig's ass of everything last weekend was. It couldn't have gone more wrong. Ed.
Well, and I guess that's what we're talking about this time, some epic fails. But really, was it an epic fail from you, or was it just challenging that you realised then you needed to have done more prep?
That's an interesting point, and I think it's probably 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. It was definitely one of the most challenging camping situations I've been in. I was supposed to be camping with a couple of other mates, and they bailed because the conditions looked too bad for them. But I'm a stubborn bugger and decided I would go anyway. And actually, they probably made the right decision. I don't think I took the right equipment. We'll get into that in a bit. I definitely didn't prepare that equipment properly, and we'll get into that in a bit. But definitely the challenging conditions really pointed out all the cracks in my preparation, and made it a thoroughly miserable time.
Yeah, and I guess because you knew it was going to be quite wet anyway, you were looking forward to it. I knew you were going with people. I didn't realise they'd pulled out, so you went by yourself. Yeah. And the first inkling of this was you sent me a video of a wet tent. Tell us what happened.
So I went to the Lake District here in the UK. So the Lake District has got lots of mountains, really big high country. It's got lots of lakes. So as a result, you only get lakes if you get lots of rain. So it can often be quite a wet area. Went to Langdale, stayed in the National Trust campsite there. It's one of my all-time favourite campsites. It's an incredible campsite with absolutely amazing facilities, brilliant shop. There's always somebody on site. They do breakfasts if you want it. They let you have a fire. They've got great hot showers. They've got drying rooms for all your kit. So if you have been out walking and you've got a bit wet, you can dry it all there. It's just a brilliant site, and it's smack bang in the middle of at the end of Langdale. So you are completely surrounded on 3 sides by mountains, and if you're into sort of hiking and climbing, you've got it there on your doorstep for days and days and days, or you can get up and over those, and then you're beyond into the rest of the lakes. So it is an idyllic place. It is absolutely idyllic. This had been planned for quite a few weeks. but nobody had booked anything because we were waiting to see what the weather was, because it can really be quite changeable in the lakes. And about 10 days before, the long-range forecast starts to get a little bit more accurate, and it was definitely looking wet. A week before, it was absolutely looking really wet, so everybody else dropped out, and I decided, buggy you, I'm going to go on my own, because I really wanted a camping trip. And I thought, you know what, I've been to Langdale in the Lake District on my own. I think it was 2011, the last time I camped there. And it was great. I had a brilliant time, did lots of hiking. And I thought, I'm going to do this again. So I thought I'd go, the bugger, stubborn so-and-so that I am.
Did you have the I'm going to wake up with snow kind of mentality of I'm doing something that other people are not doing, and I'm a hardy traveller, which you are?
That's exactly kind of my thought. I was literally thinking, my mate Matt, I know I think he is listening, actually. I think he is listening. It's he's a fair weather camper, and he'll probably hit me the next time I see him for saying that. But I
think we all have our moments with fair weather camping.
Yeah. I mean, it's camping's always better when the weather's good. But a bit of rain doesn't put me off. I'm pretty experienced at camping. I've got a lot of kit, and I just I thought, you know what, if it's miserable and it's wet, I can still get out and walk the hills. I can come back. If I take my 3-meter bell tent, then I've got space inside there if the weather's miserable to kind of entertain myself with the fire and the tent stove. I won't be cold. I'll have enough stuff that actually this will be a bit of an adventure, was my thinking.
Wow. And it didn't end up like that. So what was the first point of fail? And I'm referring to the video.
So I drove up there. It was 3 hours to get there. Where are we going, Ed?
A1.
Ah, okay. It was 3 hours to get there, and it was very much like today, all the way up. It was sunny, and it was beautiful, and it was great. And I was thinking, oh, this is amazing. If it's like this when I get there, the forecaster's got it totally wrong. That's brilliant. And then as I inevitably got to the Lake District and pulled off the motorway, the clouds came in, and by the time I'd got to Langdale, it was already raining. I mean, it wasn't raining hard; it was just sort of spitting, and I thought, okay, so I got to get this all up in the rain, but that's all right. A guy did come over and offer to help, which was really nice. Another camper, he said, "There's some heavy rain on its way. Looking at those clouds," he said, "Do you need a hand? Because it's not much fun putting tents up in the rain." And I said, it goes up pretty quick. I said, but if I'm still doing it when the rain hits, please come back. Which was really nice.
Aren't campers bloody lovely?
They're just bloody lovely people. Really nice guy. It's I really appreciated the offer of help. It didn't get any heavier before I'd got it all up. It was about half an hour after I'd got everything up that it really started to chuck it down, and it was windy. And the 3-meter bell, it'll hold up to the wind. It'll hold up to the rain. It's a good tent. I'd kind of got everything in there. So I spent the next hour or so unpacking it all and getting it all laid out like I wanted. I have taken some pictures of that, so I'll stick them on the socials. And I downloaded a couple of films to watch in case I just got stuck in the tent. But I was listening while I was doing all of that. I was listening to the Lord of the Rings BBC adaptation from years ago. I've always got that downloaded on my phone. All 3 books of the Lord of the Rings, and it's just a brilliant thing for camping because it's a great audio book to just play. And I cooked me tea, took a ready-made stew and fried off some potatoes, and it was just really nice. The whole time the rain was coming in a bit bad. And then the first point of sort of noticing something was wrong was I noticed there was some water coming down the outside of the pipe of the of the stovepipe, and I hadn't got the triple walled heat exchanger pipe at the right angle. And I've done that a couple of times. If I don't get the angle completely spot on, it doesn't form a good seal.
Ah, right, yeah.
So I had to go out in the rain and realign that and make sure that was fine. But the wind was blowing it a bit, and I probably should have tied it down, because if in the wind you are meant to tie it down. I didn't. And
Come on, Tim. How many? I've come with mine. Never tied it down.
I know.
Who ties it down? We know we should. But...
Yeah, we know we should. The wind was blowing enough, though, to be moving the stove around. So, similar to in Northumberland when we were there, but in Northumberland I went and got a big rock and sat it on the stove so it couldn't move.
Yeah.
There were no rocks to go and get for in this site, so it did keep moving around. It got dark really early. I started watching Jeremiah Johnson, because
Nice.
I thought, rest in peace, Robert Redford, proper legend.
Oh, I want to watch that film now.
Oh, it's saved on my phone still, Ed. I know you're driving, but I'll start playing it in a minute.
And here endeth the Casual Camping Show.
Don't movie and drive, people. Don't movie and drive. Yeah, so I should have gone out and pegged it out and sorted it out, but I didn't. I watched Jeremiah Johnson and I went to sleep. I have to say, I had a fantastic night's sleep. I woke up a few times with the wind proper moving the tent around, but I went back to sleep every time. I had my new camping pillow, my climate pillow. I have to say, what an awesome piece of kit that is. I'm so glad I bought one of those, because that's like having my pillow from home. It's also got a waterproof outer, which turns out I needed. We'll get to that in a bit.
You wet yourself again.
All over my face.
Oh, God. Nobody needed images.
I did not pee myself. Thanks. Oh, God. I woke up at 5 with the wind blowing, and I could hear a drip, 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 which is never a good sound in a tent when it's raining outside, and it's still proper raining outside. And a proper fighter jet going over us at the moment. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
It's not going fast either.
No. Let's hope it's not a Russian one, because they keep flying over the UK at the moment.
That ain't Russian.
Hey! Oh!
Whoa!
The
I'm a dad, I'm allowed to.
The comedian's a bear. No, he's not. He's wearing a necktie. Sorry, Fozzie Bear joke. So I woke up to dripping water, and it was still round that bit of round the rubber seal and the triple wall pipe. Had let in not a lot of water, but enough to make a little pool on the heat-proof mat that sits underneath my stove. North, yeah, you need to come off. So I tidied that up, made myself a coffee, made myself breakfast, got the stove going, cooked breakfast on the wood-burning stove in the tent, which is always a lovely thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it just is. Yeah, especially when, you're there by yourself. It's those little things that take the time to do, but they also fill the time.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't worried about the fact that if I was stuck in the tent a lot of the time, because when you've got a wood-burning stove and you're cooking and things like that, you're getting the fire going so that you can cook on it. It is the ultimate tent-tainment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know where we're going? Follow the north.
Follow the north. We're going north, Tim.
Going
The
north.
north.
The north. We're going to see the Geordies. We aye?
We are. Might there be some beer drunk this weekend, Tim? Please, sir, let it happen.
It's not even the weekend, Ed. It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
Tuesday drinking.
Oh, school night drinking.
Awesome. Awesome. No, so I decided I'd go out on the hills because I thought, well, I've come. It's proper blowing a gale. It's proper raining hard. I'll put my walking stuff on, and out I went. And the first person I passed, I actually only passed one person. The first person I passed, they hadn't even got up onto the hills yet. They were just on the road towards the hills, and they all she said to me was, "Are you mad?" Said it like that, and I went, "Yeah, probably." I said, "I'm not going far though," and she said, "Well, it is really bad." And I went, I know. I said, "But it's got to be done." So off I trekked, literally head to toe in waterproofs.
I tell you, Tim, the only thing that could have been worse there was that you were wearing 9.5 boots, a size half too small. I mean, thank God that didn't happen.
I did have the right fitting boots. I did have walking trousers on, waterproof trousers on, waterproof jacket on with the hood up. I even had gaiters on to stop water getting into my boots. I had my walking staff. I didn't need gloves on because it wasn't actually cold, although the rain was kind of blowing a gale. It was that sideways stinging in your face kind of rain. And off I went and got higher and higher and higher. And I was on a route to Scafell Pike, which is England's highest mountain and the highest peak in the Lake District. So, but I thought quite quickly, I'm not going all the way there. It's a bit rough for that. But I thought I might get as far as Bow Fell, which is one of the hills in the Langdales. It's just almost in front of you. And I got higher and higher. And the only thing I saw at that point was sheep who kept looking at me, kind of going, "Well, what are you doing, you nutter?" The wind got really, with sort of every sort of 10 feet of going higher in elevation, the wind seemed to get about another 100 mile an hour faster. and it did knock me over twice. It's with gusts. It was proper blowing, and the rain was proper coming down. And at this point, I could already feel that I was wet. I was wet to the skin. And I went a bit further and a bit higher, and I was checking the map to see where I was, and I got really close to Bow Fell, and I just thought, "Tim, you're hiking on your own. There isn't another soul on these hills. The conditions are getting worse with every few minutes. Nobody actually knows where you are. There's no mobile phone signal. You're being a bit stupid."
It reminds me of, have you ever seen Caddyshack, up-to-date film reference?
Cool.
Of the vicar that goes out in a gale and has the best round of golf, starts rallying against God, who eventually strikes him down with a lightning bolt. And I kind of think you were like, "Well, I'm here, so I'm doing it."
Yeah, there was definitely an element of bloody-mindedness. But I came to my senses. It was getting worse. It was getting beyond what's in my ability to kind of withstand. So I sensibly turned myself around. I was over an hour away. It'd take me over an hour to get where I was. I knew it was going to take me probably longer than that to go back, because trying to get down all of these rocks was always going to be longer going back down, because pretty much the path was a waterfall at this point.
Wow.
So I was coming down. I did eventually see 3 lads going up, and they asked how it was up on top, and I said, "Well, where we are now is horrible," but I said, "This is really nice compared to what's up there." And they went, "Really?" And I went, "Yeah." They said, "Is it not the day to do Scafell Pike?" And I went, "It's not the day I'd be doing Scafell Pike." I said, "But you've got much younger legs than me, so maybe, if you're experienced in map reading, orienteering, and these hills, then you might be able to do it." I said, "But it's not for me." They did carry on, and I hope they're all right. But I got down. It took me well over an hour to get back down off the hills and back to my tent, and I was so glad to see the tent. And I just thought, I'm going to get in there. I'm going to take all this wet stuff off. And I'll light the fire. I'll get myself warm, dry. I'll bag up all this wet stuff, get it in the drying room. I'll go have a shower, and then I'll make myself some food, and it'll be really nice, and I'll be all right. And I still had 2 more nights to go, but I'd already decided I'm probably only going to do one more night. And I got back to the tent and I unzipped it to find water literally coming out the front of my stove and pouring onto the floor of my tent, bearing in mind that I've got tent carpets. So sooty, horrible, dirty water
Oh, God.
had literally pooled in the bottom of the tent and was still coming out of it. And this isn't from like the rubber seal not being aligned around the triple-walled pipe. This was the top of the spark arrestor at the top of the stove pipe on the outside of the tent is just a wire mesh, and in sideways rain, that's just a rain catcher. And what it had been doing for the whole time that I was away, it was just catching rain, and it was pouring down the inside of the pipe, filling the stove that had ash in it from the night before, and then just coming out the door, coming out the vent at the front in the door, and pouring into the tent.
Jeez. And I guess that they don't design them to not do that, but there is a marketing thing there, isn't there, that actually in certain climates, in certain countries, there are people that are, we're all caught short in wet weather sometimes. That would be, could be life or death situation where you need to get some warmth, but actually your stove is full of water.
Yeah.
Can't get anything going.
I have a couple of times had a bit of water in the stove before, but it's only been a little bit. So I noticed it did this before. So I put a rain hood on top of my spark arrestor and drilled through it and tightened it on. And it's just like a disc that fits over it that gives it a bit of a hood over the top, but it doesn't protect the sides at all. And of course it was sideways rain because it was so windy. It literally just collected all the rain that was hitting that spark arrestor and just sent it down the inside of the pipe. And that then just came inside the tent. And at that point, I just knelt there in the doorway, and my heart proper sank. And I gave myself a bit of a shake. I thought, I've got to stop this. I've got to tidy it up. I've got to get control of this water. So mopped up as much as I could, using some of the clothes I'd worn the day before, because I didn't want to use my towel because I still wanted to have a shower. So I kind of mopped it up as best I could, and then I thought, I can't stop this. The rain isn't stopping for days, and in kind of mopping it all up, I just kind of said to myself, "That's it. Actually, you need to just put this stuff. You need to pull it down. You need to put this stuff in the car." And you need to go home.
Yeah. I think that's the most sensible thing that I've heard there, really. But isn't it interesting because, we I would say that we are experts, but I think the wild, the outdoors, however wild you go, or whatever, whether it's car camping or whatever, there are always adjustments that you have to make. We've often talked about this, and that'll be a lesson that you'll keep with you for ages. But you will make another mistake. I think that's the thing. I think the mistakes that then stop you going ever are the ones that you can't get over. Obviously, So
and there were lots of mistakes in this. So I was literally, I was kneeling there, spirit a bit broken, and I was literally saturated. Even the rain cover on my backpack had completely failed, and my entire backpack was completely saturated. My rain cover was actually off a slightly bigger bag, so it was a bit loose, and it had failed to the point that it had collected its own amount of rainwater, and I had to empty it on the way back down because it was literally, it must have captured about 1 litre of bloody water in it.
It was like a bladder, was it?
Yeah, it was. Literally, it was. It was literally. It's. But yeah, a lot of failures in a lot of different ways. We talked about this the other day, and I said, my waterproof coat, it's a North Face waterproof coat. It's not one for the high street. It's one for the hills. I only keep it for the hills. I don't wear it anywhere else. But I noticed the last time I wore it, the water didn't bead off it quite so much. Water didn't get through it, but I remember thinking then, I need to re-waterproof that coat because it's not as waterproof as it was. I didn't do that, and I should have done that because I took it to somewhere that, as you said, no amount of hydrostatic head is going to cope with the volume of rain that's been pushed through it. In high country like that with rain coming sideways, so I should have re-waterproofed it. I shouldn't have expected it to have worked, and it didn't, and rain just came straight through it. My waterproof trousers that I've probably had for about 15 years and only actually needed to wear twice before, but at that age, they'd perished, and I hadn't realised that, and all around the arse crack, there was literally, it had separated completely. So clearly I walk rubbing my arse cheeks together all the time.
Tim and his outdoor model walk. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Work it, Tim, work it.
I like tight buns and I can't have that. Oh, man.
So, instead of Magnum, from Zoolander, and his look, Magnum. It's so beautiful. Maybe you've got strawberry split.
Please don't create another new name for me. It's better than Bucket Tim.
We're talking about ice lolly names, okay?
Can I not be Strawberry Miffy?
The Rocket. No!
Oh, God. No, so they totally split all around the arse crack, and that's why my crotch got wet before anything else. Before it even got on the hill, I thought, I think my crotch is wet.
You had another accident again. I know you're getting to an age, Tim, but you should at least know.
Stop it. Oh, God. It's good to laugh about it now, but I tell you what, it's...
Were you close to tears?
I wasn't going to cry, but I have to say I really felt like I'd been kicked in the stomach. I really felt deflated, and some of it's definitely my fault. Some of it's definitely the conditions. The 3 metre bell tent, I have to say, potentially was dead to me. On the way home, I was thinking, this tent's dead to me.
If it wasn't worth so much money, would you have burnt it?
Oh, it'd go up well, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would.
So I did get some dry clothes to finish the story, I suppose. I did get some dry clothes, put them in the front of my car. I packed up everything. I got in the tent, packed up everything, so it was ready to just do as fewer trips as I needed to. The car was parked really close by, so I got a load of stuff. I got everything from inside the tent into the car. I then pulled down the tent, pulled down my tarp, rolled those up and just put it at the back of the car so that I could easily get it out at the other end. I then went into the showers with my dry clothes and my wash bag and went and had a shower, got warm, got clean, put clean dry clothes on, bagged up my wet stuff. That was just, I can't believe how saturated everything was, and put that in the car, then sat in the car and just kind of sat there with the heater on thinking, yeah, you are going home. You've been a bit of a prat really, and just got this all wrong, but absolutely the right decision to call it. It was the wrong decision to go. I shouldn't have gone, but at that point I was probably thinking it's the wrong decision to go. In hindsight, I've then thought, it probably was the right decision to go. But as you said at the start of the episode, I should have just done different preparation and really sort of prepped properly for the conditions that I knew I was going to likely experience. I should have taken a smaller tent. I should have taken the big fat frog because it's semi-geodesic. It would cope better with the wind. I could have put a tarp up so there was an outside space protected from the wind and the rain.
But isn't that, though, the challenge? Because it was a multi-day camping, you want a bit more space, don't you?
I did. That's
you
why
want
I
to be
took
able
it.
to have a nice environment. Oh, fire on a night in the tent, lovely. You know, you know. So I for what you've got, I don't think I'd have made the same choices.
Yeah.
That's what I'd have taken because I want that additional space for those multi-night things. And if you're there by yourself, you want that extra space. You want the fire going. It's just, once again, Mother Nature's challenged you on certain things.
Yeah.
And doing that again, could you take the same equipment? I'm not talking about your clothes and going up the hill because that was crazy, boy. Crazy.
Yeah.
Could you take the same tent and stuff and adjust and make sure that didn't happen? I think you could.
You've made your own cowl at the top of your spark arrestor that doesn't allow the wind access to the wire mesh, essentially.
Yeah.
And I don't think with your cowl on top of your stovepipe, you would get any rain coming into your tent.
Yeah.
I need to do something like that on mine to make a better rain cowl.
Yeah, and that makes me sound like really quite expert when all it was, oh, that looks pretty.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought about the fact that, oh, yes, it'll stop wind and rain coming in and blowing out the fire.
It does look pretty too. It does look really pretty. It's also got a lot of weight, so it kind of holds itself, doesn't it?
It does really stabilise it.
Yeah.
I think there is something there for Winterwell to go, yeah, maybe. Because I've seen... generally on, if you look on buildings, there are wind protectors, so, wind doesn't go down and affect your fire. The flues are only 2 to 3 meters, so, if wind is getting down there, you don't want that blowing in those kind of ways. So there's something there, and you could probably make quite a few of them just to go on those. I had a real difficulty fitting it to the size of flue. They're made much bigger, and I had to have reducers and stuff in order to get it onto mine. And I've done quite a good job now, but the first time I just had some tape, some metal tape that just went around it to hold it on.
Yeah, it does look good. So if I did it again and took the same tent, I need to source a better sort of cowl to go on top of the flue pipe because it's in the rain and the wind and that's where the real failure came from. I could have, if I'd have got back to the tent and the tent inside of the tent was dry, I'd have been okay. I'd have been quite elated that I'd got back off the hills and I could have got all that stuff off. I'd have lit the fire. I'd have got myself warm and dry, made a coffee, and I'd have thought, you know what, you've had an adventure there. Let's sit this out for another day and see, and we'll go home tomorrow. But that's probably the key failure is the way that pipe finishes on my stove. So before I do it again, I'm seriously going to be trying to source something that I can jerry rig to make that. Are you allowed to say jerry rig?
I think so, yeah.
So we jerry rig that. It's to make that work. But I did, at that point, I say the 3 metre bell tent was pretty much dead to me, but I got it home. The weather improved. As soon as I left the Lake District, it was sunny all the drive home, which really annoyed the crap out of me. But I got home. What? Oh, yeah. Sorry, we're looking at the roads, at the maps. But we got home, and I got home, and it was still quite dry. So I put the tent out in the garden. When I'd put it up, it was that full of water again. I had to bail it out. There was that much water in the tent.
Still, wow.
So I had to bail the water out to get as much out as I could. Got some old towels in there to dry it up, and then I put the stove in and lit the stove and had it going red hot for about half an hour. And the tent was like a sauna for a bit. There was quite a bit of moisture in there, but actually it completely dried out, almost completely dried out the tent and the stove at the same time, which was a bonus. So took the stove out, let that cool, put the tent down. I put it in the garage overnight. I hung it on the in the garage just to make sure it was proper dry before I put it away. And actually the tent is good. I think the next time I'll put it out, I'm going to get some Fabsil and reseal it just to make sure that it's I'm looking after it. I cleaned the stove, put that away, and I survived to tell the tale of a series of epic fails.
Well, and that's the thing. If it stops you going out and it stops you, or you become more of a fair weather camper, then that's the ultimate fail, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really. Whereas, we're constantly saying it. Adjustment for the weather. You can't go out time after time after time and experience the same thing again and again. There's always something, whether it's the weather that's changeable, your setup, the level and lie of the land that you're on.
Yeah,
we've been challenged quite a bit with wind and rain this year. And my challenge the last time when we were in Northumberland with the wind, my tent needs a good rain thing because it still feels quite saggy from all of the wind that really buffeted it. And I think, it needs to be in a good downpour and it'll just tighten up the fabric again.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. It's mad, really, isn't it, you saying that? Because in the UK, it's been one of the best summers we've had for years. Yeah, actually, we've camped quite a lot in some miserable conditions this year. What the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So I think mostly that's, there's some lessons learned there.
Yeah.
And, I think your only mistake was passing on the comment that the lady said to you when those lads did. You should have just said, "Are you mad?" Because they'd have gone home going, "Oh, this guy said we were mad." We're crazy, man. We're crazy.
Oh, God. They had no option, really, but to continue on in some path, because they turned up the night before in the campsite, and there were three lads, quite tall lads, probably early 20s, and they'd set up what looked like quite a small 3-man tent, and the tallest of the three lads put his head in, and he went, "Really? Have you put me in the effing middle?" And what they'd done is they'd walked in from somewhere else. And when I saw them on the hills and I was chatting to them, they said, "Well, we've got to go because we've parked our car the far side of Scarfell Pike and we walked into Langdale from there the day before."
Wow.
So they've got to walk that way. And they did suggest a different route. And I said, "I don't know that route." They said, "It's normally a bit boggy. Do you think it'd be all right?" And I went, "If it's normally boggy, the amount of rain we've had in the last 2 days, you're going to be wading." I said, "That route's not going to be any good either, and you'll really struggle to find the route if it's flooded." And so I don't know what route they went in the end and what they did, but they kind of had no choice because they had to go one way to go and get the car back. But
wow.
Yeah. I genuinely hope they were all right because somebody sent me, it was Matt again, my mate Matt sent me a screenshot of the Lake District Mountain Rescue showing images up Scarfield Pike of it being an absolute torrent of a waterfall over the trails, with sort of notes saying Scarfield Pike is not safe to climb today. Do not try and attempt it. It's the conditions were not great. So I hope they're all right. I'm sure they are. It's several days later now. I haven't read any news reports.
And that's the thing. What you don't want is obviously mountain rescue having to come out and get you because you've twisted an ankle or hurt yourself or, heaven forbid, fallen and broken something.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of warnings. And yet I would like to hope that, actually, people have been going out in really bad weather for an awful long time. And I, would also go, well, I know my skills and I know what I could do. So, yeah, no sign's going to get me to turn back.
I was fine doing what I did.
Yeah.
But to go higher than where I already was would have been more foolish, because the higher I was going, the worse it was getting. So it's the right thing to go out and do some. I didn't go far, and I when I knew it reached my limits, I turned around and went back. I did have in my pack a survival shelter with some emergency food in it and a foil blanket. I did have my my emergency whistle that we talked about in our 100th episode. So I did. If I fell and hurt my leg, I could crawl into something like that, and but still nobody would have actually known where I was, and there wasn't any mobile phone signal, so I would be dependent on somebody then finding me at some point.
So you'd have been there for 24 hours at least, wouldn't you?
Yeah, at least.
That'd have been a cold night.
That would have been a very cold night. It's but I hadn't gone off trail. I was on a very main trail, so somebody would have come along that trail. Yeah, like you say, in 24 hours, somebody would have come along and found me. But that didn't need to happen, thankfully.
Thankfully. Yeah. And and the other bonus, really, I think, is you've got a new stove coming from Winterwell. So woo!
Yeah, not from Winterwell. It's not free.
Oh no, yeah. Tim is parting with some hard-earned cash for it.
Yeah,
but I'm super excited to see it when we're doing an unboxing video.
Yeah. Well,
because not many other people will have got it by the time you get it.
No. So this is Winterwell's new stove, and it does look incredible. I really like the fact that your new stove from Winterwell, the new version of the Nomad, has an external air intake, and I just think it's much safer. It means the fire is a completely sealed unit, so I really liked that. This new stove from Winterwell has got a 3-sided glass box on it as a base.
Looks great
for the fire, and then it's got a secondary chamber above that does a secondary burn, so it's burning off a lot of the soot and the dirty particles before it expels them, so it's a cleaner burn. And it's got quite a nice flat top surface for cooking on. So I really, really like it. Can't wait for it to come.
I'm hoping that secondary burn unit is something that will fit onto others, because I think I would like it. Listen out, Winterwell. I know you're not listening, but just in case, start doing little fancy bits for the top of the stovepipe and those secondary burns for others.
Yeah. Yeah, good idea. They could easily do a secondary burn chamber that just slots into the stovepipe.
Which they do on the other ones. It doesn't look as sexy as yours does.
No. But, I love sexy stoves.
Tim's bringing sexy back.
Nobody expected that.
It's a little bit soggy, but it's still sexy, okay?
The words soggy and sexy don't go in the same sentence. Oh God! But we're still laughing after all the failures. But shall we slide off for a bit of minute mindfulness?
Yes.
Welcome to the Casual Camping Minute Mindfulness. Let the sounds of nature take you back to the camping field.
Did it have to be rain, Tim? Did it have to be?
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid so. It had to be rain. It's no other option this week, people. But I have got, if I can find them while we're still recording, I've got some mediocre 5-star reviews.
Shut up.
I do. Somewhere in here, I've got some screenshots of said mediocre 5-star reviews.
Well, we appreciate them coming in. It does make us smile every single time. So thank you when you do them.
So this is from Becky Porter McPherson, who's in Seattle, Washington State.
Bex!
I wondered what you were doing there. No, that was like an animal impression.
No.
She's actually left us two sort of ones. So she sent us this, and she's put, I found your podcast when I did a search for camping podcast, not expecting to find much, honestly, and I'm in capitals so happy I did. And it's both practical and hilarious, and I laugh out loud at least a few times each episode. Thanks for being awesome.
Oh, Bex, that is brilliant. It's the reason we do it. And we have been voted the number one. There might only be 2 or 3 camping ones, but we're number one.
We are number one, and we love the fact that people find us and people are listening. Which is still amazing, really, isn't it, Ed?
Yeah. And the other thing, Bex, is do you know anybody in Antarctica? Because we are still trying to find that. We don't have a listener in Antarctica. And then it'd be 7 continents.
Yes, please. Somebody find us someone in Antarctica. Somebody must know somebody. Yeah. But no, so yeah, that's me, really. That's my adventure.
Well, what an adventure, and I'm glad you lived to tell the tale. I am glad that you've not thrown away or burnt your stove and your tent, but you lived to fight another day, Tim, and you'll have learned so much from that.
I have, and it's not going to put me off camping. It's humbled me a little bit, and made me realise, proper preparation prevents piss poor performance, and I prepared, I just didn't properly prepare.
Well, yeah. I've been Ade. There's not much more I can say to that, is there?
Yeah.
I've been Ade.
And I've been Tim, and we will catch you next week. Take care.
Casual Camping Podcast accepts no liability and does not officially recommend any products or endorse any techniques discussed in an individual podcast episode or shown on Casual Camping Podcast social media accounts. Individuals should make their own informed decision and risk assessment of any products or advice prior to any purchase or use.